Hello? Do you want to make a big dungeon, man?
Hello, welcome to the stream. I am just getting some things set up here. My stream software is being a little weird, so I'm trying to figure out why that's happening. Hopefully will work when I need it to. But I'm gonna get started here pretty soon. I've got a couple things that I am still just setting up with my stream software, but if you're there, if you can hear me, let me know. Let me make sure that my audio is working. It's been a little bit since I've done a stream, so I'm hoping everything is good. There we go. A little better positioned there, hopefully. Cool. Well, I guess I will go ahead and just get started. Go ahead and jump over. Ooh, if I can figure out my stream software still. Hey, there we go. I'm loving this. Things are just appearing after I need them to. They don't show up at the right times, which is tons of fun. Let me just relay this out just slightly. Sure. I think that looks all right. I know none of you can see what I'm doing. I think I have a chat thing working, but we will see if it actually does what it needs to do. Fingers crossed. Okay. But other than that, I'll do this transition one more time, and then we should be good to go. All right. So, as you can see, I've got this kind of general idea for a space exploration game. Kind of walk through. I didn't do a whole lot on this because I wanted to kind of think about it on stream a little bit more. But it's based on a couple ideas that I've seen kind of around, a couple other games, some board game stuff, some different things. Let me... so the beginning of this idea sort of started from actually working on some space exploration rules, some space stuff for another game that I'm working on. Here, I can show that off real quick. Scorchborg. So, huge work in progress on this. It's still coming together. There's still a lot of stuff I still need to get done, but was thinking about some of the combat for like spaceships, which is a thing that I've been working on. And one of the things that sort of generated out of this idea was another game, which is this space exploration game. So I kind of thought I would go through some of my process for just developing these kinds of things and then figuring out, what I wanted to do with it, and again, kind of how I transition things from a basic idea into design and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if we'll get it finished today, but it'll be a thing that I can continue to work on. The sort of general idea, I don't know if anybody's ever played Boggle, but the sort of general thing was, okay, this grid-based space exploration would be kind of a cool thing to be able to do, depending on how you wanted to handle it. I had this idea of having like a Boggle board. With Boggle, you like put the cubes in there and then you shake it up and the cubes land, and then you're trying to like spell words and stuff. If you've never played, it's like kind of like a reverse Scrabble in some ways. And it's a 4x4 tray. I was thinking actually for this game I want to do 3x3, but the idea would be basically a similar thing. You could do it with either just physical dice, and like you don't have to buy or have like the special kit thing that I'm thinking would be kind of a fun addition to this. But basically, this would have a bunch of dice in it. You would shake them up. They would settle where they settle, and that would determine kind of like the quadrant that you're in for the space exploration. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and just sort of start typing some things out and start thinking through some of the stuff that I want to do here. So a lot of times ideas start for me with just like a very simple prompt, I guess. Space exploration game with Boggleboard. I don't know if that's actually super visible. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So I think general ideas, rules, things that I want to do with it. The I think basic way that this would work would be roll dice to determine current sector. Dice would have things like combat, salvage, unique events. You could do all sorts of things with it. I think through some of the other stuff that each die would represent. I'm thinking they're going to be 6-sided dice. So we'll go ahead and put in a roll d6s to determine current sector. I'm going to copy this image and put it in here. Sort of Boggleboard-esque map. Put this up here. There we go. And then I think a couple other things about the game that I'm really... what I want it to be, I think, is a more not combat heavy, more introspective and explorative. I have kind of this general idea of it being a sort of more melancholic. I didn't even get close to spelling that right. Entropic, dark, just to toss in a bunch of random words there. There we go. I don't know why I didn't correct the first time. But yeah, so kind of just having it be more of a introspective, sort of end of the universe, into the world kind of thing. So you are, well, let's actually start, I guess, with I think sometimes having like this setting is a really good way to get started, and then rules and gameplay loop. So I know I have combat up here, and then I have not combat heavy. I think kind of what I want this to be more of is a combat is something to be avoided, and fleeing is always a better idea. You are a small ship just trying to make it, not trying to conquer anything. With that kind of idea, I don't think I want it to be a like no skills, abilities, etc. I think maybe there's like some kind of card or like equipment system. So what you can do is based on what items your ship has. Upgrading your ship is, or I guess like level up by upgrading your ship. Yeah, so I guess I don't have a name for this yet, but it's a game about traveling between ever darkening stars. Oop, wrong thing. There we go. Ever darkening stars. You are a survivor seeking refuge. Yeah, plunder is not the right word. In a set adrift in a small ship, you must salvage, trade, and repurpose to stay alive. Maybe there's a hope system or something like that where this up here, trying to get to some kind of haven or safe spot, oasis. Yeah, so something kind of like that. Set adrift in a small ship. You must salvage, trade, and repurpose to stay alive. Your only two goals are, well, the only hope you have is of a place of abundance at the center of the universe. Maybe there's like concentric rings kind of thing. So let me start doing some designy layout kind of stuff real quick. We'll see where we get up there. Get some ideas. Let's do not that. File new. I think we'll do this as NA5 probably. Yeah. Let's see. So I'll add a couple pages here. Basically what I'm thinking for like the travel mechanic is 2 phases. 2 phases traveling between like sectors and traveling between traveling further into the galaxy. So my thoughts here are there's some kind of like system for the different galactic like rings, and maybe that changes sort of what the different dice do as you roll them, and as you get like closer and closer to the center of the galaxy, each ring does something different. So yeah, right, so something kind of like this, where each quadrant is a different location. Let's see, we'll do you to there. So yeah, we got something kind of like this. This is obviously a pretty loose graphic, but let's toss in like a outer limits. Sure, I don't know. Outer reaches, outer limits. There's all these space words. Outer rim from Star Wars, that kind of stuff. Galactic core, something like that. And then I also want to toss in like, this is a placeholder, but some kind of star thing there. Now we have a Captain America shield. It's fun. Let's line that up there, and then this is like Oasis. Some basic stuff there. I don't know, maybe we call this like the out ones. Middle there. Okay, we'll come up with better names for those at some point. Inner area. Cool. Basically what I'm thinking is it's sort of a point crawl system based on this. So point crawl. Where you have sort of a general path through. So this is kind of the standard point crawl. Kind of goes across a couple different things. You can start at one, you go different places. I'm thinking that the points are going to just connect you between sectors, and then those sectors are the things that you roll the dice for. So gotta figure out how I want this to work exactly, but I guess maybe the better thing, maybe another thing to lay out here real quick is how I see the sectors working. So sectors will be something like this. Divide that by 3. There we go. So 3x3 grid. That will kind of be where the dice rolls go. You might end up with different things in each one where, you know, there's like a treasure in one. Something strange. I don't know. We'll do like a crescent over here just to kind of illustrate different things that might exist. We'll do a little cloud here or something. So each of these would be like a different piece of the sector. I see it basically being that like everything else might be blank or empty, and depending on like what you've rolled in here, you could end up with sectors that have very little in them or a lot in them. I think maybe this, so that's not what I want. So like one tile might be the entrance, and one would be the exit. I'm not sure how that's going to work exactly with the rolling and kind of randomly generating these. Maybe it's always these two. Maybe it's some other system there, but the idea basically is you have to go between each of these stations or each of these places to get like in or out. Something with that. There's something to figure out there. Maybe it's a D8 determines which of these is the entrance and exit. So okay, so roll. Let's kind of figure something out. Roll a D6 to determine where things are in a sector, starting at the top left. Roll and roll a D8 to determine sector entrance, and we'll do a table here to show how that might work. But like basically I'm thinking this is going to be a terrible table, but it's good enough. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Roll again to determine sector exit. If same number, roll, reroll. So yeah, that idea there, basically you'd mark those down. So if you rolled a 2, maybe that's the entrance or the exit. Rolled a 7, that's the entrance. Then everything else, you would roll a d6 to determine where things are in a sector. I'm thinking, let's see, so 6 things. There's like a point of interest, salvage point, an event point, maybe. What other things would you want to see in a thing? Some kind of like combat. I kind of want the combat to be more like sporadic, so like maybe you roll an event point and that sometimes comes up for combat, or maybe you roll like a point of interest and that does something. with combat. But then so we have 5 and 6, so I need 2 more things. Well, I guess a 1 actually could be nothing here. Part of this I want is that, like, it should feel kind of empty, and like you should have to visit a couple of these to, you know, figure out your things. So maybe a 1 and a 6 are just nothing here. That's a kind of a cop out, but maybe I'll come up with something else. But that way 2 out of 6 of the things, so a third of the tiles will just not be filled, hopefully. Because I want that kind of feeling of like an entropic universe that doesn't have a lot going on, and each sector should be kind of a small subset of that greater entropic galaxy. So got kind of that going on. Trying to think what else. So start at the top left, roll. Okay, so we'll do this. Starting at the top left, roll, fill the spaces that are empty, skipping the sector entrance and exit spaces. Kind of the way I could see this working with a boggle is you'd have, or that like boggle board style, is you'd have 1 die be all sector entrances, 1 die be all sector exit, so all 6 sides, and then the other dice would have 2 blank sides and then different like symbols meaning different things. So as you shake it up, it kind of does that. It does get to the, I mean, I guess maybe you could have ooh, interesting. Actually, you could do, if same number, this is like a fairly unlikely thing, but if same number, place, exit, in the middle, instead of re-roll. Because like a D9 doesn't really exist, so, I mean, it could, but you wouldn't really use it for that, to generate that middle spot. It does mean that when you're playing with the boggle board, your likelihood of rolling in the middle is a lot higher than it is without that, but maybe I'll think of something to make that a little different. I'm not sure if anyone's in the chat, but if you are, feel free to say hello, and also let me know what you think about any of this. I am interested to hear what people think. So gameplay loop, I think, is going to be sort of start in outermost sector, or I guess ring, I don't know what I'm calling these yet, but the outlands area. Roll sector, map, and export sector. One question would be, how many times do you, or how many sectors should you go to between each ring? How many times would you want to do this? Maybe there's something like that you have to collect within here. Maybe it's just the number of times that you go. Ooh, like maybe it's like a level up kind of system. This could be interesting. You can see this working a couple different ways. So, I'm just gonna make some notes. Traveling further in could be based on number of sectors visited, ship strength or level. Kind of try to think about like what the more focused thing would be. I'm thinking this ship level, but I need to figure out how that mechanic works. So this is generating a... Oh, I'm realizing I have this off screen. I can see it on mine, but generating a sector. So yeah, this would be the kind of the points. Traveling the galaxy. Goal. So I think one question is finish. I think maybe today I'm gonna try to cut this a little short. I'm gonna maybe try to do a couple more of these streams over time, and trying to like just develop this game on stream. But I'm thinking the goal of this will be maybe finishing out some of like the setting for this stream, and then finishing up some of the rules in the next stream. Doing some things like that. But the goal should be reach Oasis. That's what I'm going to call it for now. Maybe there's some kind of fuel mechanic. So every time, so maybe there's like a balance between exploring more sectors and finding more gear. Or I guess explore more sectors and not running out of fuel. So that way, as you're going, you're kind of having to conserve fuel, conserve things. So maybe you like spend a fuel to generate a new sector or to go to a new sector. And then you have to have some kind of, I don't know, something. If you have a fuel mechanic, maybe balancing two kinds of fuel. I don't know. I think sectors get more dangerous the further into the galaxy you go. More people, more hazards. Maybe you're going the other way. Maybe it's out. Maybe it gets more. So you start in here. Maybe the Oasis is out here. So maybe you start in the galactic core. I kind of like that better in terms of like maybe you're kind of like breaking out or like trying to get out. I also see this being potentially usable for other kinds of like settings. So similar rule set, you could do like a zombie apocalypse where you're trying to like break out of a city or like break out of an area and get to someplace safe. You could do like a water world kind of situation where you start in the middle of the ocean and you're trying to find land or something like that. There's some different options. But I think maybe this is the way to go. So it gets more dangerous as you travel the closer to Oasis you get. Innermost ring there. Okay, so your goal is to reach Oasis. Before you run out of fuel. Maybe there's a couple different things that you have to track. Like you have to balance like food or like supplies. Some kind of supply mechanic. Don't want to run out of supplies. Don't want to run out of fuel. Have to balance those things. Because I kind of want this to be a fairly like brutal, fairly like I want it to be possible to lose this game. I want it to feel kind of like you have to do good planning and like you have to kind of like Oregon Trail-ish, right? Where you're got to set yourself up well. You have to make the right decisions in the right scenarios. I'm thinking that there might even be like scenarios where, depending on what you do, if you try to fight, like you might die. If you try to run away, you have to like make the decisions correctly. I haven't figured out how those particular scenarios are going to work, what they're going to be. I think they're going to be like a roll on a random table, and then maybe there's like scenario cards that come up or something like that that like walk you through what can happen. But okay, so reach Oasis before you run out of fuel or supplies. Maybe you need enough supplies to travel between zones, so like you have to have enough supplies to travel between zones. We'll just call these zones. I like that for now. Zone. We'll toss a zones in there. Cool. We'll toss another page in here. We're gonna need them. Add pages there. I don't know. I'm thinking I like to sometimes put in like a little bit of a design thing so that I have kind of the idea in my head saved in like the sort of design, the feeling that I'm looking for kind of saved in here. So let's toss in I want this to be white, not react, reach Oasis. I also love big spreads like this on pages. I want to lock this layer. How do I do it? There's lock. There we go. So reach Oasis. Let's see. I've got some spacey fonts, I think. It's not bad. That one's pretty cool. What else do we have here? That one's kind of nice. Is interesting if it's more of a like 80s vibe kind of thing. Might be kind of cool. Evagoria, that's a good font. be more of like a horror kind of thing. I don't know about that. Kind of glitchy. That one's interesting. There we go. Those are some good ones too. Toss the kind of cyberpunky looking ones. What else? Always the most fun part is looking for fonts. OCR extended. Polaris is a good one. Frigate, Space Odyssey. These are all interesting. We have too many options. Okay, so let's go ahead and toss that. Let's see. I'm thinking maybe this one. We'll see how that looks. I think I like AVAX. I like this. This is a font that I'm using in Scourgeborg 2, which I'm fine with. Keep those styles the same. There we go. So kind of see the preview over here, what that's going to look like. I like that. Maybe we can do, I don't know, something star-ish feeling. Do something and why are we not working? What's going on? There we go. Pixels, brush. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of grungify that a little bit. I don't know, maybe not those exactly. Group those together, and then maybe we give those kind of a little thing there. Yeah, that's not bad. Something like that. Oop, that just erased everything. Yeah, something like that. I kind of like that style. It looks pretty good. Now, maybe we do something kind of similar for the cover. Go for artistic text in there. I don't know what we'd call this game. Maybe just Oasis. Maybe the name of the game is Reach Oasis. Maybe that like spread there is what we need to do. Or maybe in here we also do like a little, you must something like that maybe. You must reach Oasis to survive. It's kind of an interesting spread there. Maybe this is not the next page directly in from this. Maybe we do 2 pages there and kind of a, I don't know if black is what we want for this, but yeah, maybe coming up with some colors here. Some like green's gonna be way too much, I think. Maybe a red. Red's real bright. And maybe a blue like that. And then we'll toss something in here. We'll do a white stroke like that. Get sort of a table of contents going. I don't know. I'll toss that in here, like a table. Table of contents. Make that much smaller. I don't want to overuse the AVEX font, so maybe we find another font to use as well. Maybe Evagria. We'll do the nerve warning. That's a good one, I think. We can maybe something like that. Maybe we 90 degrees it. Put it in the middle. Table of contents. I don't know. That's not super readable, but I don't know that it has to be for what I want to do here. Maybe we have like fix the character position on the bullets here. Lower that tab stop a little bit. Something like that. Maybe this will be, maybe we use Space Frigate here, or Polaris. I like Polaris there, I think. And I think we get rid of the rotation. 0. see how this looks. Do something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Hello, Lame of Dawn. No worries for being late. Yeah, so just doing a little bit of layout. I can walk through sort of the general idea of what I'm working on here. Sorry, I just now saw your thing. So the idea, this is all kind of what I've been working on just since the beginning of stream, but this kind of like space exploration game, sort of grid-based. I have this idea of it being like a boggle board that you could like 3D print or buy or whatever, and like you shake it up and the dice land and like kind of tell you what the sector that you're exploring is. So you roll. This is sort of my like scratch doc here of just like some of the information. What I was doing was kind of just some simple design, kind of trying to get like an idea of what I want the feel of the game to look like. So you can kind of see you must reach Oasis to survive. Zones, sectors, all that kind of stuff. Basically, the idea is that you would roll these d6s to sort of determine what the different parts of the sector would be. Kind of the vibe of being sort of like melancholic or entropic or dark. Like I'm thinking the idea being that you're sort of at the end of the universe and trying to find somewhere safe to ride out the entropic death of the universe. I don't think that I want the game to have anything like skills or abilities. There is some kind of maybe equipment system where like you can equip different things to your ship. Maybe you have like slots that you can fill with cards of some kind that like change sort of how you can do things or how your game works. So that kind of would change, yeah. That your level ups would be upgrading your ship, finding new parts. You're trying to get to some sort of like safe spot. I'm thinking probably 2 phases to the game. One or like two styles to the game, or like not styles, but loops to the game. That's kind of the word I'm looking for. Where one is the traveling between different sectors, which would be more of like a point crawl, and then traveling further out of. This was something I changed, but the sectors get more dangerous the closer to Oasis you get. I don't know if it'd be more people or like less people, more hazards, law. I guess maybe like lawlessness would be the thing. There's more of that. Traveling further out, trying to figure out kind of what that would look like based on the number of sectors that you visit. Maybe your ship strength or level like would be how you get to the next one. So to kind of show that off, this is a super simple drawing of it, but you maybe would start in like the galactic core where things are a bit safer, but like there's less resources, something like that. As you travel further out of the sectors, you get to more like dangerous areas. So there's like the inner area, I don't have names for all this, the middle area, outlands, the outlands being the most dangerous, and then outside of that is eventually where you get to Oasis. But you have to have maybe, actually, just talking through this, maybe there's like you have to find the coordinates of Oasis by exploring. Maybe different things give you the ability to get those coordinates. I don't know why this doesn't want to autocorrect sometimes, but whatever. There's no I. There we go. And then maybe having kind of like a balancing mechanic of like fuel supply versus like supplies. So food, water, survival stuff. I think just maybe like a single number that's supply. That way you can't just spend all of your time exploring because you're going to run out of, or exploring sectors because you're going to run out of fuel. But you also need to explore enough to like get the supplies that you need and to maybe get the coordinates for Oasis. Like as you're exploring, maybe each sector has a sort of like coordinate system, or like maybe this works with like a boss mechanic, where like you defeat a boss, and I'm going to put that in quotes too. And then that would be, like get coordinates by finding a major haul or like convincing, searching old wreckage. What type? There we go. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so it's kind of the general idea. I think maybe I'm just going to call the game Oasis. It's a pretty simple name, but I wrote this little thing here. And I was sort of just doing a little bit of random layout stuff just to sort of get what's in my head onto paper, or, you know, digital paper. But yeah, doing something like this maybe. And then let's see, turn that white. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on. Got a few things here that I'm thinking are looking pretty good. I like this page a lot, this Reach Oasis. You must reach Oasis to survive page. I want to do, obviously, like some real design here. Hello, Luna. Welcome. And like kind of clean some of this up, but it's coming together. I think I was just sort of messing around with random things. Any questions? Anything I can explain more? Anything that doesn't make sense? If not, I am going to keep working through some of this. Maybe some space mono on that guy. I disagree that that's spelled wrong. There we go. So one thing is, I guess, to kind of cover this too, the idea, I think, is going to be that you roll a d8 to determine the sector. If you don't have the like box that you can shake kind of thing, you would roll a d8 to determine which sector you're in, or like what the sector you're in, where the entrance is, so where you start versus the exit. Like you have to get to the exit, and you have to, I think, travel through specific spaces. So like when you roll a sector, it's going to look something like this: entrance, exit, or entrance, exit. You could travel through these spaces and like nothing would happen. Sometimes, you know, you're going to be forced to go through a space that has something in it. You know, if this was here and there's these two here kind of thing, like you have to go through that sector. I guess actually it would be like if there was something like that. Not every sector will have a ton of stuff in it. I think the idea was going to be that 1 or a 6, there's nothing in that segment. So like if you roll a 6 here or 1 here, there's nothing there. But maybe thinking through, maybe if I pull up a dice roller, sure. I'm gonna roll a die. So d6. Basically, let's generate a board here real quick. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I'm used to working on a Mac. Okay, so we've got a board. So we'd start with a d8. Roll that. We got a 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our sector entrance is there. That's funny because that's where I had it on the example. Roll it again. Okay. That's also funny. That's exactly what I did there. That was interesting. But yeah. So now we would roll d6s starting at the top left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have those like written down here. So running out of screen real estate. Which I'm really not because I have a widescreen, but the widescreen doesn't show up well on stream, but we'll collapse that down. So on a 1, or a 6. There's nothing there, so let's go ahead and roll. Of course, it's a 1, so nothing in that quadrant. We skip this one because we've already rolled that. We go to the next one, a 3. We're going to say that that's a salvage point. So let's just put some, I don't know, I'll do like salvage. And that needs to be black text. Maybe. I don't need to be, there we go. Okay, and then roll again, a 6, so nothing in that spot. 4, this is an event point. And kind of the reason that I have 1s and 6s being nothing happens is I want this to feel fairly like an entropic universe, right? So like there's not a lot going on in the universe. I want it to feel pretty lonely, pretty empty, and that like you might have to travel to a number of sectors before you find what you're looking for, or like what you need. There we go. And roll, so 1 more. It's a 5. So this is the other thing. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want combat to be like your typical TTRPG combat where, you know, you get strong and then you just beat everybody or you die or anything like that. I want combat to feel more of a, like you run away more often than you do other things, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be a, I had this written down somewhere. What did I write? Yeah, not combat heavy, more introspective and explorative. Combat is something to be avoided, and fleeing is always a better idea. You're not like a big capital ship or anything. You're just a very small ship trying to make it through this area and into a safe space. One of the things that I was thinking, I have this as like a space game, but there's also like, it'd be pretty easy to reskin this into like a zombie apocalypse, like survival game, or like a raft style or like water world style game where you're, you know, jumping between little islands to try to reach like the island that has, you know, land and actual things on it, whatever. There's like a lot of things that could be reskinned into this game, but I wanted to do space. I mentioned this at the start. This idea started when I was doing some work on a different game that I'm working on called Scorchborg. I was doing some like combat stuff with the ship mechanics and sort of had this idea of building out a map sort of based on that like boggle roll thing. And it didn't fit with what I was working on with Scorchborg, but I really liked the idea and I wanted to do something kind of based on that. Make it kind of explorative. Scorchborg also, if I go to that real quick, it's also like, you know, Rip Adventure from the Jaws of an Entropic Galaxy. Same idea, like the galaxy was supposed to save us, too much entropy, you know, scary, whatever. I like entropy as a concept and as a storytelling device, so I do a lot of things with that, but that's kind of the same idea here, similar vibe. Where were we? We were rolling the next one. Go. Oh, I guess, yeah, okay, cool, you can see that die. We got a 2, so a 2 is, oh, I've hidden my Notion screen, there we go. Should go back to the actual game that I'm working on. A 2 is a point of interest, and I don't really know for sure what the idea behind, or like the difference between a point of interest, and a point of like an event point would be necessarily, but that's there. We skip this one, and we get a 1. So this one doesn't have anything in it. So this is kind of your travel system. I think you should maybe the way to do this, so you can't just like diagonal your way into not doing anything in a sector, is you have to move like you know, you can't move diagonally. Basically, you can only move forward, left, right, up, or down, kind of thing. So you'd have to go to at least like an interest or an event here to get out. What do you all think? Any thoughts on that style? Anyone who's here, any feelings about this? Rolling this system up felt pretty good, like rolling the dice this way. Cool, yeah. I think diagonal does get messy. It also means that, like, you can just be like, oh, I don't want to do anything in here, and then you go boop, boop, then you're out. So, yeah, I think left, right, up, down kind of thing. I like that. So let's add that to the thing here. We'll do traveling in a sector. Move left, right, up, down. No diagonal movement. It is still then possible, right, that you roll something like this and you can just leave, but it makes it less likely that you can, you know, kind of finagle your way around to not doing anything in a sector. And then figure out the, I think the idea, so let's do points of interest. I can type, there we go, points of interest. Salvage, events, combat. So those are sort of like the 4 pillars or whatever you want to call them here. Thanks, Notion, for... Sometimes Notion is great. Sometimes it's a real pain, especially trying to do layout stuff. Call this like sector anomalies. I don't know. Anomalies, it just sounds like a space thing, so we're gonna put that there. And then, so I see points of interest is like maybe I don't know, interesting space sites to see. I guess not sites like that, it's sites to see. I think that points of interest, I kind of want this to feel more like a you find, you know, like a dying sun or a neutron star or something, I don't know, something cool, or some remnant of some lost civilization, or I want it to feel very introspective into sort of the what you've seen, where you've gone. And I think there's a potential. Ooh, yeah, points of interest, puzzle. I like that. I'm gonna add that. So like puzzle info dump sort of thing. Like gain some information you might need later. I think one thing maybe is, let's go down here. We'll toss in a quick little like character. Well, I'll call it like a ship sheet for now, something like that. I don't want there to be like a ton of stuff with the ship. Also, I bounce around a lot when I'm doing this kind of stuff, kind of just whatever comes top of mind. So bear with me. I will eventually get back to writing down what each of these things does, but I kind of want to flesh out maybe the like supplies fuel mechanic, because I think that'll be interesting for solving like some of the, like, what does salvage do, what do events do, what do combat do, because I could kind of see like events being a thing where like you lose, you know, this is like a example, something happens, lose 1 fuel, or like gain, I don't know, decryptor, so I don't know, something spacey and fun. I'm wondering maybe these coordinates are, you have the coordinates of Oasis, you have, but it's like lost language kind of thing. Okay, Okay, so you have the coordinates. Let's see how many times I can spell coordinates wrong on this stream. I'm up to like 4 right now, so it's going well. You have the coordinates, but need information to decipher them. That is not how you spell cipher. Decipher them. And then you have some kind of thing with that. I'm also, real quick, I feel like I'm covering up things. How does the stream look, by the way? I threw it together really quickly. As I get more and more distracted by things. Does chat show up okay? Ooh, it's kind of dark, isn't it? Let me check it out on my phone and see what that looks like. Can you hear the music? I don't know. Video quality is good. Chat widget probably needs a background. Yeah, probably. Let's do a... Well, I don't get distracted. It's definitely not my ADHD. What could that be? No one would think that. Edit filters. Nope, not filters. Music is good volume. Cool. Yeah, right? ADHD, I barely know her. Okay. Properties, that's what I was looking for. Can I want to add like a background of some kind. Yes. Let's do like a once. Oh, here you go. You can watch me live edit the thing. Oh, I think it might have reloaded. I don't know, like... I don't know what the right amount is. Let's try that. Why are you not showing anything, though? Testing chat. Let's see. Oh, I'm logged out. Of course I am. Oop, hopefully this doesn't get weird with the music. There we go. Test. I don't know why that didn't get a background. I feel like it should have. Boxed. Ah, there we go. That should help. Let's see if that works. Test. Hey, there we go. Cool. It looks kind of ugly, but whatever. Not here to design a stream this time. Maybe that'll be a future stream, is me just trying to figure out what I want my stream to look like. I want to do more of these, by the way. I'm going to try to stream more game design-y stuff, more of that kind of thing. Because I'm really enjoying doing the layout, and doing some of this kind of stuff is fun. So yeah, I think maybe this is what this would be. Okay, so ship sheet. That's what we were doing. Yes. You have the coordinates, but you need to decipher them. I'm thinking maybe it's like a system of balances, right? Where you have a box, three. Oh my god, I can't. There we go. 3 boxes. And maybe you need to like... Okay, actually, hold on. We're going to delete those 2 because I want to redo these. We're going to zoom in a bunch on this. Oh my god. Come on. It's because they don't have fills on them. They're hard to click. There we go. We'll give them a white fill. That'll make it easier. Yeah, so something kind of like this. Like maybe you have like... 3 boxes kind of thing that you need to take care of. You've got fuel. Supply. Whew. Those are overlapping poorly. And then like encryption or like coordinates, something. I don't know what we'd call that exactly, but basically you're trying to fill this meter. Ooh, I like, yeah. So life support, much more spacey on that. Perfect. And then let's see, we call this, yeah, like we do like 14 on those. Yes, life support. And then encryption. So basically, maybe you start with like, you know, make those green, like 4 fuel and 4 life support kind of thing. And as you visit sectors, you burn fuel and you burn life support, but you need to like get encryption or like break down, like we'll call this like decryption, maybe. And like you have to fill this meter while you're not draining these ones too much. So you maybe drain like 1 life support or like 1 fuel. I think I mentioned this at some point when I was here, but I also want this to feel like pretty, should feel brutal. You should be constantly at risk of losing of running out of fuel and life support. Hard decisions. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So, and I think finding more. Yeah, you could decrypt your coordinates faster if you're a little bit more risky, but I think it's like if you run out of fuel, you're dead in the water, and you're just dead basically, and then you have to restart. And there's some fun, maybe potentially like persistent universe kind of things here. Like maybe there's like a fun, you run into the corpse of one of your last players or something. And I think the idea with the fuel is, how would this work exactly? I guess so. Like when you go to a new sector, maybe you burn a fuel, but then traveling, maybe it's maybe life support. Okay, hold on. Let me toss in a little thing. So here you spend. Put this to space mono, so it's a little bit different. 1 life support to explore a sector. But you spend 1 fuel to move to a new zone, which if you don't remember, zones are these guys. You're trying to get through each of these, and then sectors are these. And then decryption, you have to have need 4, and this is the numbers probably will need to be tweaked a little bit, but need 4 decryption to find Oasis. So you're basically just tracking. So this is also sort of the like Oregon Trail style. Make sure you have enough food and water. And that, you could do more risky things. You might try to shoot the buffalo, but it also might stampede and kill you kind of thing, as you're managing these. And maybe different, like, I think one of the things I want on this is, like, some kind of equipment sheet. So, like, you have, like, oof, nice, there. Like, equipment 1, and I think that this is like your equipment 2, right? And I think really simple character sheets, really simple what you're doing here. And we do that, and these would be basically like, maybe honestly equipment might be kind of an interesting thing to like maybe it like fundamentally changes some aspect of the game. So like one piece of equipment, maybe you can maybe it's like a bioreactive engine or something, and like you can convert one life support into one fuel, or like you can spend life support instead of fuel, or like something like that, where you are breaking some of the like gameplay loop, but like to be more risky or to be like less ship function buffs. Maybe it's like like you have like a mining laser or something, and like you can, every time you find a supply, you get a fuel too, or like something like that. I think there's some fun things you could do with the equipment. I also one of the things I try to do with a lot of the games, because I open source almost all the games that I make, which, quick plug, if you're not aware, was .itch.io. I'll share this on the chat too, but you can get my games there. Any of the games that I've made, you can follow along with some of the things that I'm working on. Scorchborg's on there. There's nothing to download yet. There's nothing here. But it does exist technically. If you want similar game to like this one, there's Spellbook. Spellbook is my solo journaling RPG about finding spells in magic, or in books. So as you're reading, it was part of a bookmark jam. It's on sale right now. I have two of my games for sale for a little bit for Halloween. Spellbook and Tongues. Tongues is a game about generating a history for your like a language. So it's not like a conlang generator, but it is a way to generate a history for a language that you might make for like a game, and like why certain words came from, where the legacy of those words came from. But I got a lot of games. A lot of them are open source. A lot of them are free. Let me go back here. Totality is one. It's free. It was part of a game jam that I did. That is based on Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is one of my favorite movies. So some fun things there. Feel free to go check them out. I'd love it if you checked out my stuff. And as I go, I'm going to be releasing more and more stuff for free. I have another game coming out soon. Here, we'll break from space stuff, and I'll pull up. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and save this in a new folder. Let me. Oasis. We'll call this. I like that name, but I also might try to think of something better. I think I shared a few of these online, but I've got a couple things going for another game. I'm going to, I think, open source this game. So this is going to be like a open source rule set for suspenseful or like horror games that you can kind of then turn around into whatever theme you want this to be. But rules light horror game based on a asymmetric like rock paper scissors / a war, like the card game War mechanic. So the way it works, you as a prey, you have these 3 actions. As a predator, which is played by the GM, you have these 3 actions. The GM has to lay down a card of what they're going to do when the predator event happens. They pick hunt, chase, or slay. And then the players get to pick which card they're going to play. They don't know what the predator is going to do, but sort of based on what they think the best option is. And it's asymmetric because hide beats chase and slay, run beats hunt and slay, fight beats hunt and chase. So the idea is, it should be harder for the predator to get the prey kind of thing, but you can do all sorts of, it's kind of Dead by Daylight-esque. And then, you can see some of the stuff's coming along. So this will be open source, and then I'm going to release one for another game jam based on these rules that's based on like a ritual setting. So it should be fun. If you're interested, if you want to make a game and you want to use some rules, this should be coming out sometime. And it's going to be all open. So anyway, quick little deviation from the plot there, but I like games. I guess what I was saying there is I like to make my games so that they're easily extensible. So, if somebody wants to release some new equipment for this game, for Oasis, or if, they want to build a module for that horror game, Run and Hide, anything like that, I want them to always be open. So, that's kind of where this is going. But that's kind of why I like really simplistic character sheets, really simple things. Like, I think I love D&D well, I have mixed feelings about D&D, I should say. I love playing D&D, but I think sometimes it can be really hard to homebrew things for D&D, especially like classes or new character things, because it's really hard to know what's going to break something, right? Like even homebrew items in D&D can be really difficult because you never know when you're going to accidentally, give your players a sword that's going to just change the entire gameplay loop, or especially with classes, like homebrewing subclasses or homebrewing new classes. Like it can be really hard to make things that are balanced without really doing a whole lot of playtesting, or without having made a lot of stuff in the past and kind of having an idea of how all of the pieces of the game should work. So I like things like this. It's all sort of based in the Morkborg realm too. Like Morkborg is a game that's really hard to break, partially because it's so brutal that it just, like, even giving your players something really powerful, unless it's a, like, you can never die kind of item, like they might just die, even if they have the super powerful magic sword. There's a good chance they're just going to die anyway. So I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I think this is basically the basics of the character sheet. You fill in your fuel, you fill in your life support, you have your decryption, you spend different things. Obviously I'll make this look a little bit nicer, but pretty simple there. And yeah, I think you spend fuel to move zones. So you start in the Outlands, and I think, you could shotgun into, or sorry, you start in the Galactic Core, and you could like shotgun out into the Outlands, but like things are going to get more dangerous. I think one of the things I want to make are like the different roll tables for these events, or for these like points, will be different depending on which sector you're in. And so like they'll be more dangerous. If you roll a point of interest in the Galactic Core, it'll be much safer than rolling one in the Outlands. So if you shotgun your way out into the Outlands without, spending at least a little bit of time to salvage, find some equipment, find some things like that. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to do that, basically. And yeah, I think you always have the potential. So all the way back to what I was talking about, I think some of these things will be like, something happens here, like you gain a decryption point or something, right? For each event. Salvage, maybe salvage is like you get 1 life support, get 1 fuel, something like that, where it's just kind of a simple table. Especially early on, maybe they get more complex as the zones increase. Oh, I spelled anomalies wrong. Anomalies. There we go. I am very good at spelling and typing, as you can tell. Yeah, I think that this is starting to feel pretty good. Starting to feel like it's coming together. Reach Oasis before you run out of fuel supplies. Exactly. Fuck the spelling police, right? That's the way it works. I am a firm believer that the point of language is to communicate, and as long as you're communicating and people understand what you're saying, it doesn't really matter how you spell things or how you say things or what you do. I hate grammar for that reason. Okay, so salvage, this is get something you need. I think that this is an interesting one because, if you take like this map here, you might be like, oh man, I really want to get this salvage, but to get to it, you have to go through this combat, right? And so you might have 1 fuel or 1 life support left, and now you're concerned about, oh shit, I need to go get 1, and maybe salvage is like you get to choose, since they could be more dangerous. Maybe you just get like, you can choose. It's 1 life support, it's 1 fuel, it's whatever. Fuel's interesting. Maybe fuel should be more limited. Maybe it should be like 2, so that, because there's not very many zones, right? Like there's not a ton going on here. And like I said, you could basically just shotgun your way out to the Galactic Core, but then you haven't really like used your fuel. you don't really need to reserve your fuel while you're in the middle. I guess it is a resource you could lose from like an event or point of interest or something like that. But I don't know. Oh, I should also say these rules are sort of lightly based on fuel. That's a good idea. I kind of like that. Yeah, filled or needs refill. So yeah. So that encourages you. You have to explore then to do that. So you have one fuel. And so, yeah, you have to explore some sectors. You have to find something. You know, at some point you have to find a salvage point that's gonna give you a good thing. And I like that too because, again, kind of in that like brutal realm, it is technically possible. Only it's a 1 in 6 chance, right, of getting like a salvage point. And so like it's very possible that you, maybe not very possible, but it's at least pretty possible that you're gonna roll something up here that just doesn't have a salvage point. And now, you know, you are in even more danger. Now you have to spend another life support to go to another sector. Like, it's very brutal. It's very painful. And so what I was saying, there's a really cool game that you all should also check out called Rune. If you're interested in solo games, Rune is a super cool Souls-like RPG. You're a traveler. It's very Elden Ringy, where you're like an undead traveler trying to take down the rune lords kind of thing. Super cool. Also uses a point crawl system mixed with a like grid system, sort of. So the way that this works for theirs is that you generate I think it's a 4x4 battle map for each of the battles that you get in. So you have like a very tactical, almost chess-like battle where your enemies have things that they do, that kind of stuff. And then you're point crawling between these sections before you go to like the next realm. So it's kind of a similar idea that, you know, point crawl into a hex-based thing. That's kind of the Boggle mixed with this is where that kind of came from, but it's a very different rule set. It's a very different kind of like concept here. Actually, I have let me turn my camera off real quick while I go finagle my way behind my green screen. My green screen's pushed up super close to my chair, so it's always very awkward to get out, but I'll be right back. All right, I am back. Yeah, I have Rune. I picked it up at Gen Con. Super cool book. Really cool. It's Gila RPG is the like company, but Spencer Campbell makes the book. Spencer makes some really cool RPGs. Gila in general has some really cool stuff. I'm apparently not following them on Twitch or on Itch. Now I am. But yeah, very cool if you're interested in like solo games and especially like really brutal, really like Souls-like games. This is a cool one. Interesting in this one, you're an engraved. It's also got kind of a similar equipment system where there's like all these. Let's see if I can show it off, like starting equipment stuff. I don't want to show too much of it, but you like pick different pieces of equipment that let you do different things, and your character sheet is sort of in a similar space where it's just like a really small card base. You've got these things that, you know, that's your weapons or whatever. But it's very combat focused. It's very meant to be very like Souls-like combat where the grid that you're working in kind of limits what you can do in your combat. There's spaces you can and can't move into. It's more tactical. Whereas I don't want this game to be really combat focused at all. I want it to be much more like explorative, sort of contemplative of a game. So yeah, that's gonna bother me. There we go. Cool. Anyway, getting back to it. I'm also realizing I think the music stopped playing. Did I? No, I played through the whole thing. So let's go find some other music real quick. What do y'all want to listen to? Ooh, eerie and creepy. That'll be good. I was trying to go for a Halloween feel for the music. Sorry, I'm also promoting the stream real quick while I'm sidetracked. There we go. Just sharing that a couple places. Cool. So we got some music back on. Let's get back into it. Yes, Explorer Nerd. I am too. I love, so like, I'm Baldur's Gate, some of those other, like, all the games that were popular right now. I love the sort of charisma arc, the charisma idea of, you know, how do I talk my way out of everything? I did the same thing even in like Skyrim. I was a very charisma-based Skyrim player, which is always fun, you know. Sorry, I got distracted by the stream again and adjusting things because it doesn't look right to me. There we go. Oh man, I'm also realizing that die tripping over a root in the forest. This is the way. Absolutely. Although it is always fun. What is it Outer Worlds? Outer Worlds, is that the game? Outer Worlds. There's like Outer Wilds, the Outer Worlds. I played this game and really enjoyed it, and my favorite thing in that was that you could do the like dark charisma path, where you like got really good at charisma. You can do this in a lot of games, but like you got really good at charisma, and then you like convinced people to like attack each other, or like kill other people, or like do things like that. That was always super fun. It's a really fun one. It's really solid. I highly recommend it as a just quick. It's not like super long, but it's got a lot of fun interactions. It's got a lot of like the sort of Obsidian, Bethesda-y. Maybe not Bethesda. Bethesda's the wrong one, isn't it? Who made? It was Obsidian. Obsidian made Knights of the Old Republic. It reminds me of that a lot. Companions, yeah. BG3 Act 2. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you're one of my favorite things. If you ever get into the game, go watch some speedruns of the any percent category, because one of the things you can do, you're like light spoilers maybe, but not really anything. You're like trying to save the galaxy by finding this ship that has, so the idea is like Earth is going to die. They send these two ships. One is full of just like civilians. One is full of all the like scientists and everybody's super important and like all the smart people that they're going to need to live in this area. The science ship disappears. And so the civilian ship lands and then colonizes this new system. But it's just all like capitalists and terrible people that are in it. So it becomes like this hyper capitalist hellscape of a space realm. You got to go find like the science ship. That's kind of the whole plot of the game. But there's a speed run that's an any percent category where you just like jettison the ship into the sun, and like all the scientists die, and that's the end of the speed run. And it takes like 10 minutes or something ridiculous. Like it's like it's super quick, and you just kill all the scientists, and capitalism wins, and everyone dies, as is, you know, the tradition of capitalism. Yeah, super fun game. It's super enjoyable. Really enjoyed the sort of open worldiness of it. All sorts of things. So it was a good time. I'm also realizing I'm trying to fix chat here to be. Let's see if this worked. Test. Okay, cool. I wanted the text to be white so it's a little easier to see. Yeah, you're good. No worries. I'm probably gonna be done here pretty soon. Have fun with board games. Yeah, I'm probably gonna maybe call it here pretty quick or pretty soon, and then maybe do another stream here in the near future to work on this a little bit more. Maybe I'll finish up the run and hide design stuff at some point on stream too. But yeah, thanks for joining. Have fun with your board games. I am thinking, yeah, maybe I might call it here on this. Maybe, let's see, I have a couple things that I still need to do. Let me open run and hide again. I don't know, my font disappeared, which is tons of fun. But maybe I'll clean up. I don't know where my font went. Oh well. Maybe I'll do some like quick layout stuff on run and hide while I'm just hanging out. because it's getting there. It's almost done, but there's a couple small things I still need to finish. Some text things, but actually, I'm probably just going to call the stream there for today. I got a couple other things I got to get done today, but I will be back and at it at some point here. I think my goal is to try to just design this game entirely on stream. I think it'll be kind of a fun way. I want to have like maybe some breakdown YouTube video kind of things of it too. Talking about just like the different, things that we've worked through, things that changed, all that kind of good stuff. And then I can release this, and it should be open source if anybody wants to ever make new things for it or play with it or whatever. It's hopefully going to be a good one to do that with. But I think this is good progress. I feel pretty good about this. I feel like we made some good things together. Got to a pretty good spot with this. So I'll be back in sometime. I don't know when I will be doing the next stream. Maybe sometime this week I'll try to do a stream to finish this up, or at least to get to a good place with it. But until then, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, a wonderful week. Hopefully work isn't, too terrible. Have fun with capitalism and everything. But until then, go check out my games on itch, was.itch.io. I'll share that one more time. Most of them are free. A couple of them are on sale. I'm going to share that in the wrong chat. There we go. Share that there. A couple of them are on sale right now if you want to grab Spellbook and Tongues. Totality's free. Misery Keep if you play that one game that I can't think of the name of. Morkborg. Slipped my mind there. Misery Keep is one written by Rugus Khan and has some editing by Walton Wood, and then was a layout jam. So there's this is my version of the layout for it, but there's lots of them out there. Tons of fun stuff, Cyborg content, some D&D content. I'm going to probably be releasing some more D&D content soon. Got some more Tober stuff. I only did 2 of them because I was gone for a little bit, but it's fine. There's some things there. Maybe I'll finish that up at some point. And more than anything, if you're interested in space and dark horror, space, entropy things, all the buzzwords, Scourgeborg will be coming out someday. It does have access, I think, to... maybe there isn't anything. I don't think you can actually purchase anything yet on it. I might turn that on to try to make like the goal, like a goal to have this. But if you're interested... I'm still working on Morkborg. I'm redoing the combat system. Maybe I'll do another stream of that as well once I'm finished with the space exploration game. But a lot of the Scourgeborg stuff is coming together. It's just going to be like a dark horror space game based on the Morkborg rule set with some space combat stuff. So thank you for joining. I hope you all have a lovely weekend and week. And until next time, I will see you somewhere.